Watch my Coronation!
What's going on, everybody? This is Super Robot Ed, and I got the thing I said I wasn't going to get, and that was Transformers, the movie, Studio Series 86, Coronation, Starscream. What all do you get? You get this thing. You get Starscream in his nice, I guess you could say painted animated mode. And right off the bat, there's issues with the paint on mine. He's got some red spackle there. Well, it is what it is. And of course, you get this throne. You get the shoulder pylons. Everything stores in the throne. The only problem is I can't get everything to store in there. So these parts we're going to show off in a minute. Here is the cape. These are the weapons that goes with the shoulder pylons. We're going to go over that in a second. But before we do all that, let's look at the box. And all Transformers come in a box or a baggie, if it's official. And this box is pretty good. And got a nice kind of like artwork of Starscream, which looks a lot better than what we're getting in the box. And of course, he's got Thrust and Ramjet on his side, like in the movie. Unfortunately, I am not digging through my boxes to get those two. They will not be in this video because the parts don't work with them anyway. Some of them do, but not all. But it's pointless. And from the side, you see the smirk of Starscream. And from the back, you see 29 steps and the different ways to store it and how you would store it on there. And well, it don't work like they say, but we'll show that off anyway. And of course, him on the side again. And for my instruction people, because if they don't see instructions, they freak out. Here is the instructions. They were upside down, now they're right side up. And it's like a little just booklet. It's a booklet, okay? It's you don't need it. But anyway, let's move on. And let's show off a few things here. Now we're going to show off the chair. So the chair is a nice, sturdy plastic. It's purple. It's got a Decepticon symbol right there at the top, if you can see it there. In the front, it's nice and it's good plastic. Here it is from the bottom. In the back, it's very hollow. Why is that? Because you can store the weapons here. So you're supposed to be able to just put this in there and it's supposed to plug in. And I think for the first time I actually got it, so you can see exactly how this works. And when you fold this down, it's going to go inside there. And it's hard to see, but it's in there, but sometimes it doesn't go in there. And unfortunately, I don't have enough light, so it's in there. And then, of course, you would store these or the other weapons. So the other shoulder basters can store here as well. And then you put the cape on here. And of course, it can go like that. Or if you want to just make it like that, you can. You know, if you want it to be like that, you know, specialty. Now, the crown, this part right here at the very top is supposed to go at the very top of here. Now, I don't know if it's going to work or not. No. And it didn't work before, but it doesn't stay. So they didn't think about that. Hasbro kind of dropped the ball on that. It will not stay. I mean, it doesn't. So that's the end of the throne and the crown and everything. If you want to put the crown in there, that's fine. You can just stick it in the bottom and you know where it is. Just don't fold it this way. Should have been like a little piece to go on the back. Maybe a third party put something there. That way you don't lose it if you wanted to keep it all stored together. Now, I'm going to bring in Starscream. So, this is Starscream. This is anime accurate Starscream. Okay, and he is this odd tan. Almost reminds me of the United Seekers when they start to go bad, because they have a special amount of paint. But as you can see here, he has that silver. I don't even know why they were there. It was just there. Like, that's all it was. But from the side, these are clean. There's no tampo and no stripe. Plus the Decepticon symbol is bigger. And just so you guys can see, I'm going to bring in the original Earthrise Starscream. And now we're going to show off the differences. Like I said, there is a different, it's like a different shade. It's still the same color scheme, but a different shade, but with, you know, he has got silver and it's dark, like a darker tan. This one is a lighter grayish tan. Again, you know, he has the side, which was seen, I think, in a couple of episodes of G1, but this is how he would look in the movie. And of course, he has the slightly different yellowing on the canopy versus this one, which is more like a burnt. almost like a burnt orange. This one is kind of a more yellowish orange. It's a little, I don't know, it's not as, I don't know, color is different, lighter, you know. From the bottom, again, they have different paint apps, but slightly. Everything is a slight and subtle take. You'll see more of it in robot mode than you'll see in jet mode, but the main thing you'll notice in the jet mode is just, it's a lighter blue. You can't see it, but it's there. It's there. And which one do you think I think looks better? Both look good to me. This just looks like the movie. This just looks like Toy and the original cartoon. But for matching purposes, and we'll bring out Thundercracker and Skywarp, they all match now. Before, Starscream had those stripes on the side, but they all match except, like I said, his Decepticon symbol is bigger, but they all match. It's almost symmetric. Like it's weird. I mean, you look at him, he has that, but they don't have that, you know, that paint or that stripe onto the rudders. They're all plain, you know, whatever color they are, purple, blue, and black. And then they match now. So they, you know, they match. And that's about it. So that's pretty much Starscream in vehicle mode and the differences that he has. And then the next thing we're going to do is show off how he looks with everything combined. And that'll be in 2 and 2. All right, we're back. And now we're going to show off how to put the parts on the Starscream. Now, other comparisons we will show off later. This is just for this part here, so you can see what needs to be done. The first things first, we're going to take off the original null rays or shoulder blasters, whatever you want to call them. And when we take those off, we now have Starscream just like this. Why do we want to have him just like that? Well, because in a few moments, we're going to put on some new parts. So, first things first, what do we want to put on? Well, you want to put on these shoulder parts. Now, these shoulder parts, you will have to kind of use your brain a bit, because that's the side that you want them on. And this one, for some reason, is tighter than the other one. This is how it is. This is for the alternate null rays, which have a different connection point here instead of up here, okay? And what you would do is fold this down and make sure this part right here is up, kind of like that. And then, you know, just kind of fold it down and put this on here. Now, because they give you this extra connection point to put this on, you'll see what I'm talking about when I put this on, with why it's there, why it moves. And that one goes on nice and tight. You want to make sure it's on nice and tight. And then when you raise this up, this will fall down. The higher you raise it, the closer it will get to the arm. So you get a nice uniform look. And the third-party units just did not do that. As you can see there, now it's done. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So, you know, you don't have to really show that off again. It's going to look asymmetrical, and make sure you use this same blaster. It's important because it does give them the correct look. And just put that on like that. And raise up the shoulder so that the null ray can now fit squarely. Now you have the shoulders all ready to go. They are nicely painted. And the next thing you want to do is lift up back here. You're going to see that 5mm hole right there. That's where the cape goes. And you just put the cape on like that and just fold it back. And it has 2 configurations, which we'll show off in a minute, but it just folds down and you can kind of, you know, pull your canopy part down. And now we're cape, shoulder pylons, and then finally the crown. The crown only works on the Earthrise Seekers. So it works on the original Starscream. When I say Earthrise Seekers, the ones that are, you know, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and the original Earthrise. And now you have him, and he is in his cap and gown mode. And, you know, the articulation's the same. It kind of will get hindered by the wings. You can kind of fold the wings back and get a little bit more of a, you know, look. He'll still do everything else, but like I said, the cape will get in his way. But if you want to do the moment where he's like, get on with the ceremony, you can lift up the arm, open up the hand. I forgot about the opening hands. Yes, he has opening hands. And then you unfurl the cape. So from the back, so you can see it, you just unfurl the cape. And, you know, you got the nice flowing cape, and I like it. You know, I thought I wouldn't like it, but I did. And you just turn around and look at that. Look at that. That's Starscream, man. Before he gets blown up. So now we're going to show off some other comparisons with his Earthrise counterpart in robot mode, and then we'll do a few things, and then we'll wrap up with some final thoughts, and that's how he looks. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Now I'm going to say this, it's really going to be hard to see this on camera. I'm going to do the best that I can to show off the differences between these two Starscreams, so just keep that in mind. This segment may be a little brighter than others. But this is, of course, the Studio 86 remold. This is the Earthrise version. So the first thing you'll notice is under here, under the chest vents, this part is painted red. So this is inside is red. The inside of this is black, like a dark black. The faces are the same only because I happen to darken the face of Starscream so that he would match the animation. So they're pretty much the same on that. The color of the plastic itself is really going to be hard to see, but it is a sort of brownish. Like, this is tan, but this is even a slightly different tan. This is more grayish than it is tan. The temples here are bigger on here as they are smaller on the Earthrise. Also, there are various details. Let's take a look at the back. Like, then you could see that silver plating on the back that we saw in jet mode. So it's going to be right there where he doesn't have it. And everything on the back is the same. Like I said, this is grayer, this is tanner. They're so subtle, it's almost weird, but you'll see it at the same time. The blues are darker. These blues are lighter. They're just enough of a lightness where you can tell that shade. It's a really odd way of shading things. The leg details here are different as well, as where there is paint there. It's a lighter shade of paint. There is a darker shade here, and then there's also paint at this part, like below that vent. And even with the feet, like I said, they are two different shades of blue. Yes. And there is the same detailing, but on the side, again, in jet mode, he has no paint stripe, while he does. And that's pretty much the differences. And of course, the biggest thing in the room is the opening and closing of the hands. None of the articulation is different, though the arms are a bit tighter on him than they are with him. And which one do I like? It doesn't really matter. Both are pretty much the same. I mean, you kind of, it's one of those things where they should have released it with, they should have had like a glossier paint, some type of different paint, but this is actually molded in plastic. This is why they had a gray prototype. This was molded in plastic because it's not painted. This is actually a slightly different color. So they made you could say a second production run. And like I said, with these things on the side, they will match Thundercracker and Skywarp in jet mode because their jet modes don't have the paint stripe. So next we're going to show off a few other figures, and then with using the accessories that the Starscream can use, we're going to show that off next. And we'll be back again in 2 and 2. Because I really like the look of this, we are now using Shatterglass Optimus Prime. And again, you can do with him the whole cape swatting thing because he has the rotating hands. So he can actually do, a pose. Like I said, it does look rather weird and it won't stay because it doesn't have that ability. But still, you can get a, good posing with him having the cape. And this actually works with him. Again, as stated, this should have been sold as a separate accessory, but we're going to move on from that. Now we're going to show the rest of the Seekers, and then we'll do a final thoughts. Now you can do it with Earthrise Thundercracker as having the cape, crown, and accessories. Now, like I said, he won't be able to use his arm cannons. He'll have to use the specially made ones that were basically made for Starscream colors, but they did like a blue and a purple. That would have been cool. Now, unfortunately, you can do the cape. I don't feel like digging my cone heads out. They will fit. Everything else will fit except for the crown, of course, because it's specifically made for Earthrise Starscream's mold to the T. Again, will not fit on your Siege Seekers. Sorry. And here is the same Coronation cape and crown and shoulder pylons on Skywarp. And I'm not going to lie, it really does look good with his colors. Like, it's amazing what you can do with the set. But this is nice. Like, the colors work on either of them. Actually, I like the way they look on Skywarp. Almost able to keep it on Skywarp because the colors just kind of go well. You got the, that light lavender with the purple, and then the lilac, which should technically kind of be close to what his color should be. Yeah, that does look nice, man. That's a one heck of a presentation. Now let's go on to the final thoughts. And a bonus shot, and this is of Kingdom Galvatron sitting in the throne, and he's taken over from Starscream, and he's of course got Scourge and Cyclonus at his sides, and he's ready to take over. Well, we'll see what happens after that, but just a little bonus so we can show that off. And now we can do the final thoughts. Final thoughts is here, and I'm going to backtrack on some things I said. I'm going to keep this quick. So basically, I really did not like this set when I first heard of it. Like, you're just going to give us a Starscream in opening and closing hands, which they did. But there are subtle changes, and those changes are directed from the movie. The coloration of Starscream varied from, and episode to episode in the original G1, but in the movie, they kind of stuck to a specific palette. And yes, he does fit that. Like I said, I'm sorry for bashing this. I actually like it. But what I really would have wanted for them to do was make this a separate package. Because everything works. There's nothing different on Starscream except for the different hands. But other than that, without really doing any additional tooling to the hands as far as giving it like a wrist swivel, you're kind of stuck with the poses that you have. Yes, you can still get the pose, but I think the Seeker mold that we have now for the Earthrise, unfortunately, does need a retooling because it lacks the modern articulation that the War for Cybertron toys have given us. And when you talk about that, you're saying if you took the Siege Seekers, you've got what the modern tooling is. And the Siege Seekers still, as far as articulation, blow the Earthrise Seekers out the water. With this set, it works on it would work on a figure that can handle articulation, because in that way you can do these poses with the cape. And you can't. But you still can do it. It's one of those things where Hasbro, they're still towing the line of greediness. What should have been done, to me, if you weren't going to do anything else with Starscream but just give us an opening and closing hands, you really could have left that off the table. You can't get it because you're missing a lot of things in the Earthrise Seeker mold. And that holds back the set from being like, oh snap, you gotta have it too. You kind of a sucker for spending the money for it. Now the backdrop is of course, his final moment, pivotal scene before Galvatron blows him to smithereens. Just to let you know. And yeah, it's, I'm not into backdrops. That's for you guys. I just like Starscream in general, but besides that, these subtle changes, the way that everything stores onto the chair has nice weight. And like I said, the Starscream is different just enough to know that, yes, this was technically done over. Now, with that being said, should you buy this? The answer to the question is question mark, because it's Starscream. And if you're walking down the aisle and you're a Transformer collector and you see the set, you're going to look at it once, you're going to look at it twice, probably going to look at it 3 times and say, oh, dagnabbit. All the other reviewers have already gotten him. So in my opinion, yeah, I got him. I like I said, I don't rate figures because you are the judge of the figure ultimately. But at the end of the day, when I was walking down to check out with him, I was okay with checking out with him. When I got home, I was a little bit more pleased. And as I went through all of the accessories and spending time with him for a day, I realized, yeah, it's decent. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wish for a better paint job. Yeah, I definitely agree, because if you remember with the Chug Seekers, we got millions and millions of different paint jobs, and we had probably about 4 or 5 Starscreams. Ultimately, the United version looks the best, but this is good enough. This is good enough. And I think if you really want Starscream in this accessory set, because of the playability, because you can use it on different figures, not all, but different figures in your War vs. Cybertron line, you can have fun with it. So it does extend itself beyond just being that for the Seekers. So yeah, I would say double tip, it's a recommend. That's all I could say. Of course, it's up to you. Other than that, I would say if you don't want this, you're saving $50. But that chair is not cheap. It's a good weighty plastic, and it can be used for other figures. So it is all up to you. Me personally, I like the crown. I like this set. It's better than third party. That's all I gotta say. So this is Super Robot Head saying thanks for watching my videos. Please like, subscribe, and share if you can. If not, just keep watching. We'll be happy. Until then, see you soon. Bye-bye.